All right, here we go.
All right. Well, there it is.
We just saw Spider-Man, whatever the full name of this movie is.
Man, that's the thing. I don't even remember the name.
Yeah.
Homecoming, Brand New Day.
Brand New Day.
I think it's Brand New Day.
Yeah, that's right.
It's whatever
Spider-Man
movie's out now.
And let's be very careful not to do spoilers for the first minute or so.
I 100% agree. So again, we went to an 8:45 showing on Saturday morning because there was no
tickets anywhere.
Everything was pre-sold. Yeah. But I will say this, to me, is the best movie I've seen, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I have problems with it, but thumbs up. Go see it. I would say this is the best Spider-Man movie. I now would put Tom Holland above, because going into this, if I thought of what the best Spider-Man movie, it's still Spider-Man #2 with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
I like this as the best Spider-Man movie. The visuals are phenomenal.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah, absolutely.
They worked in all the cameos and all the other people. So I think this is the best thing they've done since Endgame, which is a high bar.
Really? Okay.
Now, that's a whole where it falls in the overall. If you consider all the Marvel movies, that one I'd have to take time with. But it was just an enjoyable movie. Thumbs up. I don't necessarily give it a 10, maybe an 8 or a 9, but I really like it.
But I think you started off with the best movie we've seen, though.
Since we started the podcast.
Really?
Which is just this year.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some others where you came out and really rated them.
I guess that's fair.
It's on the high end.
Maybe I'm saying that it's definitely the best we've seen this summer. You said that for Odyssey.
Okay, you're talking about new, because obviously Fifth Element you would.
Oh yeah,
would put
okay. That's in a class by itself.
Yeah, so
that's recent movies, because again, there's been a
Hail Mary
the last
great.
10 years. Yeah, Hail Mary. You're right. That was actually considering that, and I called that a 10.
I think
this I don't know but this was enjoyable. The best movie we've seen.
I can't remember. You pegged that pretty high on Frankenstein.
No, Frankenstein I did not like.
We'll have to go back and do an overview of all of our
ratings. We totally do, right?
Because
I come out of the movie high.
Yeah, but no, I would say I would be up there. I would be up there probably around 8 or 9 number. Yeah. And I would have to sit there and contemplate it relative to the other movies we've seen. Of course, we have to set Supergirl off to the side, and we have to set the Odyssey off to the side. But I think this is one we can mutually agree is fun, and go see it, especially if you're a fan of that universe. I thought it was very well executed. The special effects were great. I thought
the visuals were phenomenal.
The visuals associated with him being Spider-Man,
the flips
were great.
And moving through Manhattan. Manhattan looked awesome.
And all the things. So
but then I think we can go into spoilers. If you don't want to be spoiled,
don't.
And I would actually recommend.
But I would say, if you don't want to find out that Peter Parker is in fact Spider-Man, don't listen past this point.
No, I thought that was pretty good. I had heard a little bit about it, and I was still surprised.
So spoilers.
Spoilers. Okay. So they did a great job, because this is almost a Spider-Man and Punisher movie. Almost. He was in it enough. He was in it a significant amount.
Yeah, surprisingly so. I wasn't expecting that at all.
I had heard they had a lot. I actually was expecting a lot more.
I tried to avoid spoilers coming in, so I had no idea that Punisher was even in it.
So I got 2 sections of, problems with the movie, but I want to gush over the movie first.
Okay, do it.
So it did a good job of leveraging the shared world that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has developed over the last 20, 25 years. Right?
Yeah.
Because they've had that problem, and that's also one of my complaints that they now have to deal with, because early on, and it was something that DC has tried and abundantly failed, and Marvel pulled it off, where they spent 20 movies building up. They did the Avengers Endgame. They had this huge event where they brought everybody in. And this one where you had a few, and this is actually goes a little bit into the criticism, because when it becomes a more serious thing, there are so many characters based in Manhattan that you can't ignore that they exist. Right? So, again, so they changed Jean Grey. I don't know how much you know about Jean Grey.
Well, and that was going to be one of my problems with the movie, because it touched, my problem had to be, what universe am I in? What multiverse am I in?
Yeah.
I don't know which, because there seem to be cross-population of characters, and even the characters as I understood them don't seem to be what I understood to be the character, and Jean Grey is a perfect example.
Right.
But then again, the problem with Jean Grey and the problem with the X-Men over the arc of time for the last 30 years has been they reinvent them all the damn time, and you don't know
and that's a part of the problem that they especially did that. I think they called it Phase 4, what happened after Infinity War. I was happy to see that there was none of the multiverse stuff in this.
I don't think so. I guess
okay,
not.
That's fair. So, like, remember, you watch the movie, and there's parts that pull me out of the movie. A lot of it was figuring out Jean Grey, because they completely changed. They didn't completely change her powers, but Jean Grey. Okay, no, that's a fair. I'm misspeaking. They completely changed a lot of her fundamentals. Now, there were a lot of influences in this movie, in the scenes and in the visuals. So I don't know any of these details, but it had a lot of Matrix-like visuals. You had the slow motion, and you had the big zoom backs, and it was great, right? It was really enjoyable.
No, the whole thing was
that's not a criticism, but I was like, and the power that they gave her. So let's drill into this, because again, so in the comic books, and there's so much messed in. Again, my comic book collection that I still have rotting in my barn is from, I probably stopped once I went to college.
Yeah.
So 92-ish. You had Phoenix. So Jean Grey at a certain point gets inhibited by the Phoenix power, which was this, she basically at a certain point was the most powerful character in the Marvel comics, and she's maintains being one of the most powerful things, and they did a bunch of different versions of this in the movies that I couldn't keep track of, and I don't know how much.
Well, we don't even need to attempt to recap it here, because if we do that, we're going to be talking for 30 minutes about Jean Grey. So in this movie, her version now is she has a sister. I don't know if that was ever in the comics. I don't remember that either.
Completely different thing. But now so she's still a psychic, and she has some telekinesis, although that was a major part of her old powers.
Yeah.
This one is she can inhabit and take over people, but she has a 33-foot range on that. And that part I loved. So again, spoilers. She's taking over one person at a time, and they have to be within 33 feet of each other. But once she's inhabited them,
she can hopscotch them or whatever, or whatever you want to call it.
And one of the main things, and this was a power that Professor X has, because their powers were kind of related. She could take over multiple people, and that I really liked, because the whole time, probably you were doing the same thing. I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, okay, well, I know Jean Grey, and I know her as the Phoenix, and there's a Dark Phoenix saga. It's like, what is going on?
I don't remember this aspect of her powers before.
Again, she gets inhabited by the Phoenix Force, and then the Phoenix Force takes. That's old stuff we don't need to talk about. But for the context of this movie, and this is spoilers, because I think this is a big part. So one, she doesn't get revealed for the first hour.
I had no clue that who we were dealing with.
No, and this comes right out of the movie, a fantastic movie which we should watch. And I don't think you've seen it. I've mentioned it before. Denzel Washington in, I think it's Fallen.
I don't think.
Where he fights a demon that can jump to people. It's right out of that. And the demon becomes obsessed with him because he's a good person. The demon can't inhibit him. Exactly. This, like, so the writer stole that. Like, if it's not the same writer, I don't know. I didn't research any of this. The fact that the Jean Grey couldn't inhabit Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And became kind of obsessed with him. And you don't find, I think it's halfway through the movie.
We don't even know, still right now, we don't know why she couldn't.
Well, what I did like too is she takes over the Hulk, and then she loses control of the Hulk, and then she tries to take over him again, and he learns how to stop her.
Yeah.
So there are people who she can't take over. I like that. Yeah. They could have gone into that more, and it makes sense that superpowered individuals would have more of a resistance. But that was right out of this movie, Fallen. It's a fantastic movie from maybe the late 90s, early 2000s. Denzel Washington is a homicide detective. And then that scene where she figures out, she knows he's Peter Parker. You still don't know it's Jean Grey. And she's jumping from person to person, having a conversation with him.
Yeah.
Carbon copy discussion, because Denzel Washington figures out that there's this malevolent being that can jump to people. Does the exact same thing. He's in a crowd, it jumps from one person, has a sentence, jumps to another, and I was like, okay, if they didn't consult with that guy, they owe him some money, because the first half of the movie is that, and then it's not until a certain point where all of a sudden it reveals that it's Jean Grey. Okay, so
I had no idea it was Jean Grey until his facial recognition program determined.
And they said Jean Grey.
Until they said, I'm like, Jean Grey. So is this the same Jean Grey?
Here's a real one you might not be familiar with. So his best friend that he kind of starts hanging out with again, I guess he does, in this Ned Leeds.
Yeah.
So in the comics, and I could be getting any of this wrong before anyone listens to this and there's like this. From what I remember, Ned Leeds. So they've completely moved away from one of the key aspects of Spider-Man was that he was a photographer for the Daily Bugle.
Right.
And so he was always working hand to mouth. Like here, they don't talk to how he makes money.
Did he even have a job in this movie?
His job was being Spider-Man.
He had no source of income in this movie.
No source of income.
But the most high-tech, expensive stuff you could have. But no source of income.
So again, that's going to go into my CinemaSin area where I said I really enjoyed this movie, but I could pick it apart a lot.
And this is again an example of where you're going to have to step up your 3D printing game, because evidently.
Oh, he's much better at it.
Even in '97, they could 3D print. A very attractive woman.
You're going to mention that one every time.
And now here we are 3D printing high-tech micro transmitter stuff.
For sure.
But for some reason, you still have to get your solder gun out to do some hot stuff.
No, the techno. So they changed. In the comic books, and this, I'm sure there's multiple variations of MJ. MJ was like an actress and a model, and now they've made her an MIT graduate who will talk on his level for technology.
Oh yeah, she just sat. He was working on that inhibitor. She just like sat down.
Oh yeah,
boom, 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 and didn't you think about this? And I'm like, what the heck is this?
It used to be that the technobabble like really was solid, and this was malarkey.
Well, not only that, it's not even her expertise. She's like, I used to study bioengineering.
Right. I was considering.
I walked by a bioengineering book once, and so now let me come right in here and I was like, come on.
Now, but okay, so that's what. So Ned Leeds, his best friend, in the comic books, the character named Ned Leeds actually becomes the Hobgoblin. Now, I'm sure you're familiar with the Green Goblin from the first set of movies. the Hobgoblin was the next iteration of a villain who eventually gets, and it's actually a competitor photographer that he knew at the Daily Bugle. Yeah. So it was a whole thing. But that's why there's now an online thing that Ned Leeds is going to become a future villain, his best friend. Yeah. Which I like setting that up. A lot of classic stories, the arch nemesis used to, like Lex Luthor and Superman were best friends growing up. So, okay, there was that. Now we go into the whole thing, which they did a much better job of this. The original Spider-Man, if you remember, she figures out he's Spider-Man, Mary Jane, who was Kirsten Dunst. Kirsten Dunst, yeah. Mm-hmm. She figures out, and he's like, no, I can't. There was a big scene at in the theater when I saw it over 20 years ago. Someone in the theater, sitting not far from me, screams out, "Bro, you're gay." And there's a key part there, right? If you're, let's that realism of you're this guy, you don't have unlimited resources like Tony Stark, right? That's a part of it, is that, yeah, he's got to keep the secret identity. Yeah. That was a big thing. And yeah, okay, you know, that goes for any powerful, important person. Right? They have these vulnerabilities. Right. And again, though, do you deny yourself that chance of happiness? It was old thing, because she says it in there when she finds the letter, right? So I guess we should explain that for people who haven't. Well, I think we got to go ahead and assume people have seen all the previous stuff. He wants to tell her, he decides not to. But because Jean Grey figures out that he loves her, and that was one of the most devastating scenes, because you think keeps her safe. He figures out that 33-foot deal. Traps, which is a plot hole in the movie to me. Huge plot hole, because he had her suspended from that crane where she had no radius. When they show it, so that's my problem with even the rule that they set, because the rule that they set was that she could inhabit one person, but she had 33 feet. Boom, boom, boom. But boom, boom. Yeah. That's how she gets around. And once she has that link, once she's controlling someone, it's unlimited. So, wait. She wasn't in. She was still in the car. She was still physically in the car, and she just jumped to someone else. Now, she may have done that just to mess with him, that she's jumping around, that he could figure out, because he's like, I can get here. But again, I would put that in the sin. No. There's holes in it. It just because for me. She didn't need to do that. So was she doing that just to mention? And like, I really suspected at the end, when she was on the bus, that they were going to introduce the X-Men, because that's what actually happened. Well, yeah, I don't even know. Again, I don't know how this fits in the X-Men universe, because she's not the character that we thought that she was. I didn't know. Is she going off? Is she on a bus to go to Professor X's university? Right, and the university is upstate New York. You see all the trees. Is that what we're supposed to assume, that's where she's headed? I thought they would give a little more. I'll say again, and I'll probably say it, the end credit scene was trash. Yeah, it's not worth it, which I had already heard, and I would double down on that. So you can. I know myself. I knew it was trash, and I was like, I'm going to sit through it. The whole purpose of the end credit scene was that you're going to see Spider-Man again, and it's not going to be on Earth. Right. Well, you see, they've really. So we'll put that at the end. Let's talk about those end credit scenes, because I think that deserves. Every goddamn movie we go to now, as soon as the credits come up, we look, is there an end credit scene? I'm really kind of fed up with the end credit. And it's a different thing now, because you can find all the end credit scenes after a week online. So it was a nice way get people to sit through the credits, because a lot of people do put in effort on these movies. I'm kind of done with them. Anyway. All right, so we've hopped all over the place. We've hopped all over the place. Let's go into the holes in the movie. Okay. And this is a double warning. I would actually recommend, if you're planning on seeing it and you haven't seen it yet, to stop here, because the movie was very enjoyable, but these are the things that can pull you out of it. Yeah. And I know that I've done that. I've watched spoiler reviews, and then I'm looking for those scenes, or they pull me out of the movie when I might have enjoyed it more.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so.
Well, we're at 20 minutes, so we need to.
Okay, yeah, I'm good. I can go with it real quick. So I loved his back and forth with Punisher.
Yeah.
But damage control, they kind of mention there was a damage control back in the 90s, but it was specifically a company that would do quick repairs.
Yeah, I thought it was all about repairing the damage.
Right, and I remember this is how crazy my mind works. So Marvel used to do like a year anniversary, and it would have all these little vignettes. And one of the things would be it would have advertisements for companies, and one of them was like, New York City Transit has been trying to repair the A train for 15 years. We got it back online in 36 hours. Damage control. So I think they've kind of pulled that. I don't know if the comics changed what damage control was now this secret government thing that's kidnapping things, and it's of course a malevolent force.
Superheroes to try to learn how to mimic their superpowers.
Yeah. Okay, and then the last thing, shit, now I forgot what was one other thing. Well, there's stuff that can pull you out of the movie. So the Punisher's there, and it's like, oh, they're not letting him go. Yeah. And then the whole end thing, when you see him in the hospital bed. So I did like that. That's worth it. I know we're going long, because it's an argument. And again, in a world, I want to be Captain America and Batman, that doesn't kill people. But the Punisher is the opposite of that. He's always like, shoot first and ask questions later. And in this, they did a good setup in that world to show this thing, because the Punisher's like, I got my way to solve this problem, and we got to take her out. And right at the last minute, and I thought that was great, he lets her back in, and she talks directly to Aunt May, and she kind of gets, but and then she did a lot of evil stuff. Yeah. So, I that's that redemption. Can the a Hitler be redeemed at the last minute?
Yeah, in a 60-second vision or 30-second.
Right. Well, and it's like Darth Vader.
So anyway, the Punisher's going to take her out.
Punisher's going to take her out. He shoots. Spider-Man saves her, and he gets hit, and he's almost going to die. The Punisher so they show him bringing him to the hospital. He recovers in the hospital. The Punisher's there. I couldn't tell if he was but he was wearing tactical gear, and I'm like, they're going to immediately arrest. So that was always a part of the comic book, is Spider-Man never worked with the police. He was always supposed to be, and there were basic cops that were like, no, we like what Spider-Man's doing, we're not going to arrest him. Right. But the by the law, he was a vigilante, he was supposed to be arrested. So that really took me out of the movie. The way they get him out, that he saves his identity, like he's been in a coma for however long. There's no way someone doesn't sneak a picture.
Well, in the art and the cards and artwork, including the sketch that Mary Jane had drawn that shows the secret, shows who he is. So you just gotta totally ignore any kind of
so
reality
there
in this fantasy movie.
In the middle of this review, I'm going to say, as much as I like the movie, it has significant problems if you dwell on them. Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah, they have logic inconsistencies.
I still would hold, as far as I know, since, and I'm not going to say that where it falls in the pantheon of all the Marvel movies, but this was the most enjoyable I've seen since Endgame.
Yeah,
I would now say he's the best Spider-Man, and this is the best Spider-Man movie. That's what I'll call out specifically, though. Like, they've already established, like Doctor Strange, you're not going to have 1 kilometer radius, so a 2 kilometer sphere of people mind controlled, and not have other heroes show up.
Right.
And they've done too much not to address that.
Right.
And so
again, what is it? Natasha keeps saying that he's small potatoes or whatever.
And I'm good with that.
Well, but some of this came to the level of Big potatoes.
Big potatoes. You got a thing on that?
Like, yeah, and I will go. Yeah, and you go. Well, let's go back to the one scene. You know, when he shows up looking for Natasha in her office, and she's in the swimming pool or whatever, and obviously she's nude in the swimming pool, and she's like, "Hey, you've got to get in here with me. You know, you got to take your clothes off."
I love that he kept the mask, but he goes in his underwear.
But then he's got a towel around him. It turns out he has underwear.
Yeah,
what's he got the towel around him for?
I thought, like, listen, I won't speak for you, but if Natasha's asking me to jump in the water naked, I'll keep the mask on.
First, I'm getting in the pool, then I'm taking my clothes off. I'm not,
I guess that's true. Nobody needs to see me naked at this point.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm not wasting the time. She's not getting out of my sight. I'm not going to go off into a dressing room and take my clothes off and come back out, and she's gone.
Excellent point.
I'm like,
I stand. You're going to just walk right in.
You want me in the pool?
I'm in.
I'm in. Oh, wait, I have to have my clothes off here. One second. Let me slide out of this.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Instant naked.
Yeah.
Instant naked. Oh. Yeah, that was that. Like I said, that was good. But they have this rich world, and they're doing a good job with it. They already have this in canon. A bunch of heroes in. Like, even just do the fan service and have like a single scene of what everybody's doing during that time, or why they're not there.
Yeah, but like I said, at least they had the Hulk, had her, they had a little bit of crossover, into that universe. But again, I'm just still not clear on exactly what
her powers.
Which of the universes were in here. I mean, because again, they're just now, because of rights issues, they're just now able to start pulling the X-Men in, pulling stuff in. And so now they're bringing a different version of Jean Grey in. And I just don't know what is what anymore.
Yeah.
In the movie.
It's now such a rich world that it's really hard for them to keep track of that.
Yeah.
Right. So,
and then the other thing, and we already mentioned it, kind of takes me out, is he's the Tony Stark Spider-Man version, who evidently has Tony Stark resources, and I don't know where that comes from.
He
lives in a trashy apartment.
And again, like I said,
he didn't go down to Radio Shack and pick this stuff up, is all I'm saying.
There's that one YouTube channel, CinemaSins, where they count all the inconsistencies and all that. This movie's going to have a lot of those.
Yeah, we'll have to go check that out.
Oh, for sure. Well, very good.
All right,
Enjoy it, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Go see Spider-Man. Bye.